call to order for the 2023 Bay Ridge Community Club annual meeting. I want to thank everybody who showed up tonight. It's great to see everybody here and see everybody chatting and getting to know each other, and kudos. I just want to let you know that we do have sufficient attendees and or proxies. This is an official meeting. So whatever you say is going to be written down. And I'll be reminded of what I said tomorrow. Anyway, again, welcome. And if you have anything you would like to express here, please, raise your hand or be some otherwise noted and get the secretary's attention. Stand up, your name, your lot number, so she can write it down in perpetuity.
Yes, because otherwise I have to spend the next month going, the lady in the red shirt, she was back on this side. Who was that? So it would make it a lot easier.
Okay, so, and again, those of you who don't know me, Ken Jameson, I'm the president. I'm just finishing my first year. I was the vice president before, and I've been a director at large, or at that time I was just a large director. Things have changed physically.
Not much.
Write that man's name down. Yeah. Anyway, so I'd like to have the rest of the board introduce themselves. And just before Jamie gets started, our director at large, the one we have on board, he couldn't be here. Tyler Sobkovich, he had a family issue come up, so he's not here. So, Jamie?
My name's Jamie. I joined last year to be the vice president. I live on East Shoreview.
Judy?
Judy Jones, treasurer, and I live on East Shoreview, and I've been doing it a long time now because nobody else wants to do it.
You're so good at it.
Oh, thanks.
You can't mess with perfection, though.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a few people here that say no to that.
And I'm Patty Jameson, and I live on C1 Place. And again, if you guys could just make sure I know who you are when you're speaking, that'll be helpful. And I'm sure you haven't missed some yellow signs that are everywhere around here. There's just a few calling your attention to the new website. So take those home with you or whatever, get signed up, because that's a good way for us to communicate.
And we can thank Jamie for that. He's the one that got that going, and he built it, and he's the one who pretty much maintains it. So kudos to Jamie. I got to tell you right now, I am an analog man in a digital world.
Yeah.
And I scream and yell anytime something new comes up. So anyway, we can get started. Okay, so hopefully the review of the 22 minutes, hopefully everybody got those in the package that came with the introduction, the directions here and so on. Hopefully you've had a chance to at least peruse them. I know in previous years we have read them, but last year we did not read them. We just asked for any comments, any concerns. Anybody have any questions about the minutes from last year? Okay, so let's see. I got to tell you, I'm not a huge Robert's Rules of Order kind of guy, so if I forget something, I'll duck when you throw something at me. Yeah, okay, so is there a motion to accept the 22 minutes?
I'll motion.
Okay.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
There's a second. We can have a hand vote to accept. Everybody who wants to accept, you can raise your little card or raise your hand. Okay, it looks like we have a majority. Anybody not want to accept, you can raise your hand. Okay, the minutes are accepted, and I love doing this.
Yeah. I got that for him for Christmas, and my kids were like, Mom, what were you thinking?
Yes, okay. So now, the next is looking at the 22-23 profit and loss statement. we're now down to number 4. Again, that should have been given to you in the package. The proposed budget basically is the left side of that one sheet, followed by the actual profit loss. And I noticed myself that there are a few differences on there. So the approved 22-23 budget is on the center column there where it says approved. The actual you're going to see is different. Our anticipated revenues from dues and so on did not quite meet up to what we were looking for. We spent just a little bit of money in the stormwater repair and maintenance. Obviously, you guys saw the BAI people running around. They were putting in replacing a few culverts. They were replacing several catch basins. They went through, and what they did was based on the county. The secretary, she heard about this plan that the county was putting out to try to get small homeowner associations involved with maintaining and upgrading their stormwater system. So she got involved with this. And one of the things is the county came out and did a pretty intensive review and analysis of our current situation. And I know we do have copies of the report if anybody would like to get one if you're having a hard time sleeping. You know, you sit there and look at it for 35 minutes and
Yes,
you'll see the sheet floating.
it is
But
on the website.
it is on the website also, but it's pretty comprehensive as to what issues the county saw that needed immediate repair or clean out or replacement or what have you. So we contacted 2 companies in the area, Western Refinery Services and BAI. BAI came in at a much more competitive price. So what they did is they utilized that report and they did the work based on what the county recommended needed, basically immediate repair or renovation. And so you'll see that we spent roughly $55,000 doing that. So that was a pretty healthy hit on our overall budget. And it pretty much, it was about $10,000 more than the approved bit because as they were doing items, things came up. And we also did not just do the actual stormwater. Some of the things we did, I'm going to hit in later as to what some of the project entailed. But it was a number of things about building a new swale. If anybody doesn't know what a swale is, it's sort of a man-made depression to funnel the water down the way you want it. We made that on East Shoreview. We dug out a few more ditches. We mowed some of the ditches, so there was a lot more than just what BAI did. So that was the major chunk of it. We actually, our insurance was less than the budgeted. Postage and mailing was a little more, I believe, because we were instituting a monthly newsletter that we were mailing or having some of the kids in the neighborhood hand deliver them. So that was printing and mailing. We're now having it on the website. So that's going to behoove you. Pardon?
Savings.
Yes, monetary savings. So you can go on there and we're going to try to post things on a monthly basis. We have things like, you know, hints about mowing your lawn or just different things, topics of interest. So if anybody has anything that they would like to put out, let us know and we can review it and see if we can include it on the newsletter. So it's going to be there on a monthly basis, so that'll bring that down a little. The roads, we had 3163 budgeted. What that was, we ended up having the road cracks cleaned and sealed, as well as the speed bumps. What I know we all love the speed bumps. I do. I love them. We had them painted so that they were a little more visible for us. So that's where that money went to. Legal fees, yeah. Unfortunately, the attorney, just running a few things by her cost money. So that was that going. Professional services we have our CPAs maintaining our books and records and so on. Landscaping, that they mow certain parts of the lawns. And then down, almost the last one is the miscellaneous annual barbecue. Last year we had a barbecue. This year we're having the taco. So, we're trying to do things to get everybody to come on out and participate. So that was the budget, and then the profit and loss statement. Like I say, it's a little different. They had us bringing in total income of $15,200. That probably included some things like if we had a lien against somebody's property and they became current and they paid off the lien, we pulled that in as income. So, and again, income with a not-for-profit is a different thing than income on your regular 1040. We don't pay tax on it, but we do need to maintain proper books and records so that if we're ever audited, we'll stand in good stead with the governing bodies for that. So total income of $15,000, and a number of the expenses will tie through from the actual proposed budget and actual budget. So unfortunately, we spent a little more money over what was brought in. So any questions, concerns, comments on the 22-23? If you have any question about what we did or where some of these numbers come from, sir.
David Hamilton, lot 30. You described the expenditure for the stormwater or ditches or whatever, the $55,000 road or stormwater, as being the result of following up on recommendations made by the county as to how our stormwater system could be improved. And you gave that report to the company who did the work, and they followed it in making their decisions on how to do these repairs. So my question is, what level of confidence do you have that the suggestions made for our water system by the county were made out of a genuine concern for it, or whether they want our capacity upgraded to handle their water, which they should have diked away years ago?
Well, my level of confidence is very limited. I have virtually no experience dealing with stormwater systems. However, I have lived here since 2018 in October, and I've experienced the massive flooding that this development, our development, has been involved in. And that's, in my opinion, the county was looking at how we could improve our current capacity to control the water and get it to where it's supposed to go, not to impact any future development. Do I have any concrete evidence to support that? Not in the least. It's simply knowing the people that we were talking with, going on the BB Warm websites, or going to the meetings, or going on Zoom and listening to people and seeing their comments. And that's where I am laying my my confidence and support with. But to answer your question, I couldn't tell you one side from another. In fact, the secretary and I, we had no idea what a swale was. We had no idea what a catch basin or a culvert was until we started doing research and finding out that a culvert is a covered pipe. An open ditch is a ditch. It's not a culvert. I was totally unaware of that. The majority of our system is a stormwater main system, because it brings the water from one part through the part to the exit area. So we have learned a lot, and just doing the research and seeing what has been done and talking with the county folks and walking with them across the street onto the Birch Bay Village side and looking at their area, walking up Selder, looking at the new development and all of the catch basins and ponds that they have. What we did impacted our area, I think, in a dramatically improved condition. And that's all that I have to support that.
And BAI, I would say, has been very supportive of us and very thoroughly talks to us and explains things to us and educates us and is very patient with all of the questions that come from us. Because we do question things as we get, like if they tell us this kind of needs to be done, he'll be down there with them and they'll show them why it needs to be done. So we've learned a lot and I feel real confident about it.
Correct.
Charles?
Chris Callow, 34. Would you say that the work has all been completed?
No.
in the county?
I'm sorry, all been completed. I jumped in there too soon.
And if not, what more will be done, and do you have a time frame yet, or have they given you a time frame?
Who, the county?
The county.
Okay, as far as that goes, once again, the secretary, my wife, got us involved in this project. And the county, for a number of years, as you know, there is no culvert at the Bay Ridge entrance coming off of Birch Point. There is no culvert. At the time, one of our previous presidents, Tim Springstead, was talking with them and they said, oh, you're right, we should have required it. We didn't. Oh, gee, we're not gonna do it, that's your problem. That's what was going on for a while. We've been talking with a number of people and we are now on, and I'll use the term lightly, short list to get a culvert under Bay Ridge entrance at their nickel and at Bay Ridge and Selder to improve that one on their nickel.
Okay, it better be, because when I was president, we had, they bought 10 feet of right-of-way from our property on Bush Point Road so that they could move the culvert in and make it deeper. And it was all on their nickel, but they bought the property to do it.
We need to talk, sir.
You know,
Seriously.
That came up at the appraiser's office, that space.
There was something, but yeah, okay.
Yeah.
We need to get together and get some more information on that, if we
I think
can.
there's another question over here too.
Yes, yeah, I know. Achilles. But to answer your question, what's the timeline? We have, the secretary and I have been on a couple of BB Warm, and that's the Birch Bay Water and Aquatic something
Resource
Management
District,
Board
something like that.
for Birch Bay, basically. We have been to at least 2 of their Zoom meetings. We went to a meeting when they had it over at the Birch Bay Village. And they keep pushing it back because other bigger, unfortunately, bigger development properties kind of jump in front of us. But from what we are understanding, it should be within about 2 years. That's, I think, county government working somewhat quickly.
yeah.
So that's about all I can tell you on that.
You know, I think that what's required on our part then is to be glued to them, literally, and
Yeah.
any rumblings of, well, we're gonna have to push it out more, you stop it immediately.
Yeah.
Right. Well, again, we're gonna tell them to stop pushing it out. How can we tell them to stop? We can voice our displeasure.
Yeah.
We have a contact with the county.
There's also county administration and council and the county executive above them.
Yeah,
Correct.
We'll just have to start going to a
Yeah.
higher level.
Right.
and they're very aware of us, and I keep in regular touch with them,
So you're
so.
real squeaky wheel.
Yes, we can do it, yes.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely. And I have a loud voice, as you can tell. And I have no problem using it in meetings and stuff. So hopefully that's gonna be somewhat of good news. It's not the best news, but we're there. We're in there. We're above some of the other, places around here that have experienced some pretty heavy flooding in the last few years, we've trumped them a little bit.
Yeah, and actually, if you go on the website, you'll see all this documentation from the BB Warm meetings, and you will see us there in print. We're right there. We're actually, I think, the second project listed. And actually, kind of in our favor, in a way, is that we are actually a lower figure than many of the big ones. Like wasn't it Richmond Park or something? They can't afford to do that. I don't know when they're gonna get to it. So in a way, that works well for us because we're a figure they can wrap their minds around, it appears. But yeah, we have heard it could be as 2 years.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah,
yes.
we'll keep reminding them.
Okay.
every year.
Okay, Mr. Malari.
Achilles Malari, lot 42. Two questions. One in regards to the, I guess your budget, your P&L. The road and sewer R&M or repairs and maintenance cost $55,000, and you got a line in here for a fund, sewer fund at $45,000. Is that to offset that 55? Is that how that works?
Judy, could you answer that?
Let me look at it.
So if you're looking at the approved budget,
Did he say a fine or a fund?
no, fund, I believe.
Fund. Yeah.
So there's the 55 way up at the road, stormwater R&M, and then down below, about 2/3 of the way, it says stormwater fund of 45.
I'm just trying to understand how you got to 66,000 on that page, and it doesn't show up on your P&L either of that 45,000. So it's just want to understand how that. I understand that that's probably paying for that. It just doesn't show up on your documents.
Yeah, it was paying for that, and like Ken said, we went over
Yeah,
what we had
about
proposed by
12,000.
about, yeah,
About 12,000.
yeah. Because there were other things that came in that were required to be done that hadn't actually been budgeted for in the beginning.
Okay. The real part, my main question for this is, with the 55,000, what was done? I don't see anywhere in here that shows the breakdown of the work that was done to cover that 55.
We're gonna be getting to, reviewed projects completed last year or in progress. That's where I'm gonna do a little more delineation of
Okay.
what we had done.
Okay.
It's not gonna be, job site by job site or everything, completely, but it's gonna get a little bit better overview.
Yeah, we're not a regular resident of the community. So we live in Canada, me, my parents and myself. So we'll come down every so often to see. And as I drive the community, I'm glad to see that everyone's still here. I just don't see the work other than what's happening around my house.
Right.
Right. So if there is more work done that I don't see, and I drive the neighborhood, I went up and down the street and say, well, where else did people get dug up? And I don't see anything but my house, right? And I have to pay the extra.
Drive down East Shoreview.
East Shoreview? Okay.
That's where the swell was put in down at the end of the culvert, or down at the end of the cul-de-sac, because we had a lot of flooding, and you'll see that the ditches have been cleared through there. They were jetted.
That's fine. I just wanted to
Yeah,
understand.
it's kind of all over. Some of it you can't see
Yeah, I
because it
was
was
gonna say, yeah.
jetting through all of the culverts,
Sure.
clearing obstacles out, so that the water would actually flow like it's supposed to.
Okay.
There were at least 3 catch basins replaced at my property, on Tyler's property. Those were both on C1. And then if you go to Bay Ridge, just to the east of Tyler's, which is the first corner house there, they had that catch basin replaced. So there was 3
mine.
catch basins replaced.
Yeah, that would have been mine, I think.
And yours. Okay, so there's 4.
Oh, 4, okay.
And then there was a number of catch basin grates, mine for one, Tyler's for another, that had wood coverages. And the county wanted us to put metal grates in. Well, they're about $375 a pop. So there was I think 5 or 6 of those that were replaced.
Plus the ones that needed repaired.
Right.
Like concrete around
Rerouted.
it.
Yeah. And then
Routed.
And then all of the piping coming in, the culvert pipes coming into the catch basins, I would almost say the majority of them had to be regrouted because the grout around the pipe had fallen out. And yours was really the only main that needed to be replaced in its entirety. A number of the culvert pipes had to be jetted. In fact, on East Shoreview, on the north side, there was, on the Harder's property and Jordo's property, on the north side, any little bit of an overwatering would make that thing flood and cross over to the other side. They came back a month or so ago, BAI, and before, when they put the camera down, the camera missed an obstruction. So they came back and they jetted it and they took it out and they found there was like a ball in there. There was a good sized rock in there. They cleaned that out and that is almost bone dry now going down there. So yeah, you're not gonna see a lot of what they've done.
Yeah.
But, and I'm gonna go on a limb, hopefully they don't smack me, but if you wanna seriously look at the bids and the bills to show what they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. I just,
No,
that's
no,
just
but that will show you, what they did, where they did it and so on. So, but again, I'll get into a little bit more of what we've done later.
Yeah, if anyone wants to look at any of that, it's all open for you to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And
As
if
a
you can
homeowner,
understand it-
You have, right.
Okay, cool.
Somebody else had a question, all
Oh.
the way in the back.
Sir, Stu,
Lot 76. I just had a question, I was a bit confused. So Dave mentioned, chip in here, so the CCNR's regs and rules, are the property owners responsible up from their property line up to the edge of the asphalt or not?
Up to the edge of the,
asphalt. The way we understand it,
Because I've been told by past board
Generally-
member and present board member. that-
generally the homeowner is responsible, like say, if you have an open ditch, you need to keep that mowed and so on.
Was supposed to have a pipe in it, but
Right, you have a pipe in yours and you have concrete. But like on Beach Lamar, I know Tim and next to them, theirs is an open pipe, open ditch. They just need to maintain that. If you have a culvert going under your driveway, that's generally your responsibility. If where I live on C1 and Bay Ridge, a previous owner had put in a pipe and covered it all the way around my property. That now kind of puts that bit into a stormwater main that is homeowner association responsibility. But under my driveway would be my responsibility.
so I'm only responsible for under my driveway, you'll take care of the rest on the association dollar.
Pretty much.
Is that what you're saying?
we have some detailed maps that identify storm mains as opposed to culverts and stuff. So every time an incident comes up, we have to get this out and look at it and kind of evaluate. But yes, that's our general understanding.
That's not the way the CCRs read, right, Dave?
I'm sorry, what?
I don't think that's how our CCRs that we have to follow read.
How
Yeah,
do they read? What do you
That you're
guys?
responsible from your property line to the edge of the asphalt for the
Yeah.
maintenance, pipe, catch basins. So how much of that $55,000 went to actual association related projects versus homeowner?
Well, okay, there is a map that shows what the county considers to be stormwater mains.
Because it's all a stormwater meeting.
Huh?
It's all a stormwater meeting.
well, and that's language that's not used in our CCNR, so also, they call everything a culvert in our documents.
Right.
So it's a little bit confusing, and we've been trying to sift through that, because I'm not quite sure it's totally accurate. But you bring up a good question.
I would just like to know going forward, if my pipe fails, who's paying for it, me or the association? That's all I'm asking.
The pipe under your driveway?
Anywhere, it's anywhere on your
Anywhere.
property. Because the homeowner was responsible to put the whole pipe in at the beginning. And, because it's a big expenditure. If we-
Oh, yes, it
I
is,
don't think we can even afford to do it again.
Right.
We did last year.
right. And so, I think we're beginning to understand that those things are storm mains, because it is part of the whole storm system for our communities, and therefore it falls under the responsibility of the HOA.
And that's my skill set. I've been water, sewer, stormwater, moved other roads for the last 35 years.
Yeah, yeah.
I
But
understand
then
it all.
there is some funnier language in our documents that specifically talk about the driveway situation, which we're trying to figure out exactly how that came to be. So, but it appears that our documents say that your culvert under your driveway is your responsibility. Why? Sure.
Brings down the line, I got that very popular myself.
Because of the pressure of vehicles driving over it and stuff, maybe that's what it is, yeah. But it appears that more of it is homeowners association responsibility than maybe used to be thought. So be happy to hear all your thoughts on that.
I guess what I can say is, this is a work in progress and it's a learning situation. We're still learning a lot of this stuff. And as issues come up, yes, we can contact our attorney if we need to, but that's gonna cost initial review funds.
And they're not stormwater experts.
Right.
I mean, they're legal experts, but it's kind of like you have to really understand the stormwater stuff.
Right.
To make sense of it.
The county's just recommending, they're not making us do it.
Oh, no, no, no.
No,
So
no.
They're just
we put the money
recommending.
where the board wanted to put the money.
Right.
But-
Where we thought would impact the flooding that you've all seen that we experience in our community. That's been the goal. the
Because
flooding.
at Shoreview, west to east, those two pipes were supposed to be upgraded. They're all rusted out in the bottom. That didn't get done because I guess we didn't have the budget. The money went somewhere else.
Yeah, Seabreeze, the pipes were totally destroyed, so
Right.
we worked on those, but, Shoreview,
Yeah,
Yeah.
every now and then the name of the streets escapes me, is flowing very nicely now, isn't it?
As far as I know, we haven't had a whole lot of
Yeah.
real heavy rain this year,
Right.
like we've had.
yeah, they gave us an estimate to replace those and then, it went somewhere else.
Uh-huh. I don't know that we have an estimate to replace those pipes, do we? I'll have to look, okay, I don't
Yeah,
remember a
because
bid
I
for
don't
that.
remember seeing that.
On Shoreview?
Uh-huh.
No,
No,
not that I know of.
Do you mean before all this,
No, it
stormwater?
was, no, it was all part of
Is
it.
this part of your talking with Mike with BAI?
So, no, the county, I read the county report,
Uh-huh.
and those pipes were to be upgraded.
Oh, okay,
Because they were-
okay, so you saw the county report, but not BAI,
That's
yes,
in the guys.
okay.
Well, the upgraded could simply be going from a corrugated metal into the PVC plastic pipe, which, yeah, we all would love to do. But we're gonna be looking at our current budget and funds availability. There's no way in Hades we can do that. Until we replenish our fund a substantial amount, which we'll get into later.
Right.
And then we just have to end up and kind of be, put out whatever fire comes up as it comes up. So like, let's say on East Shoreview, if some of the culvert pipes collapse or
Right.
rot out, yeah, we're gonna have to address that. But just to have a blanket replenishment or fixing all the pipes, that's totally not within our purview based on our existing
Yeah,
funds.
have to be prioritized, I guess.
Yeah.
I just don't know how we pick and choose who gets done and who gets done.
We pick and choose by when something breaks, the way I see it. I mean, that's about all we can do. Go along on Achilles, on your street, Seabreeze, thank you. I went there and I saw the pipe. It was the old corrugated metal pipe, and it was trashed. It was maybe paper thin, and it was collapsing, and there was soil in there. Yeah, that had to get done. Other ones, we go in and we hydro vacuum and we get all the dirt out and we try to clean it. And if they can put the caulking around the pipe so that the water doesn't get in there and attack it from both sides of its metal, that's what they're going to do. But we do not have the funds to sit there and attack it as a frontal attack. We have to play catch up.
Because we're really far behind on this stormwater thing, but I think.
Yeah, it's taken a long time to get into the position it is, and so it's gonna take a few years for us to start, nitpicking or pick and choosing what we can fix, and then hopefully it'll all get done, but that I think is beyond our control right now. And unfortunately, it's not a good answer, but it's, I think, the answer that our funds are gonna dictate.
Of course, always.
Always, yeah. So, okay, any other comments about the 22-23 budget? There's a call for a motion to accept. Do I hear a motion?
Okay, we accept the budget.
That's the motion to accept?
Yes.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
There's been a second. We'll have a hand vote to accept the budget. All in favor, say it looks like we have a majority. Those opposed? The motion's passed, and again, I love doing this. Okay. Okay, now comes the sort of fun part. This is the proposed 23-24 budget. You won't see any huge increases or huge expenses listed because as of right now, we are pretty well oh,
Chris Callow at 34, can we turn the lights on?
we were gonna wait until someone,
You
got it?
Yep.
okay.
I don't know what's.
Over there, oh, they're over. I was playing with them earlier.
Not sure which ones do which.
There we
Oh,
go.
there we go.
Thank you.
I guess you guys are important.
We shine too brightly anyway. So again, our proposed revenue is around 18,000. And also as part of last year's, we did have to cash in a few, or at least one of our bonds to get us back up to where we felt sufficiently covered in case anything came up. Insurance is at $3,200. The postage and mailing again includes our P.O. box rental. Roads is $600. I really can't see any expense for the roads right now unless someone's car catches on fire and burns a hole in the asphalt, but that's about it. Question?
Yes, my name's Dwight Luce and I'm on lot 14. The WTA bus putting a big old hole in the middle of that. What are we doing about that?
The WTA bus put a hole at the bus stop
Yeah, they're making, as they turn it around,
on Bay Ridge by Tiffany's.
the main, you don't see that,
No, I really
it's all
don't.
cracked up.
Okay, that's something that, now,
Am I not seeing that?
85.
Is
back
that,
there.
is that on the county streets or?
No, those
No,
are
it's in Bay
ours.
Ridge.
I'd just like to say, I brought it up with the planning department at WTA, I do work there,
Oh,
Yeah,
and they are looking into maybe fixing where all this, it's starting to break apart there at Green Ridge.
right at the end.
right where they do the turnaround.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, so
Okay.
they are working with me, if you have any questions, and they're gonna start looking into the planning department.
Okay. Now, I know personally, I got a phone call from someone in WTA maintenance asking if we had any issue with them driving through our area. Because what they wanted to do was, wait a minute,
Make a
they
bus
wanted
stop.
to increase it to 11 trips a day.
through our neighborhood.
11 trips a day.
No.
Yeah, you're right, you're right,
You're
no.
saying no, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
We were trying to talk about other alternatives because apparently your own safety committee says that turnaround is way bad.
So you make the county make a turnaround spot
They're trying to figure out where to do
The-
that.
And just about, I think it was about 4 or 5 weeks ago, I was leaving, and right down there where it's the loop, the dirt loop,
Oh, yeah.
I saw 2 or 3 WTA people, and I think county people in trucks. They were out there looking somewhere there, right where the loop is, where all of the
chips and
the wood
stuff.
chips are. They were doing something down there.
They were putting in a new stop right there, and that's, was a flex stop, and they were turning around in there for a minute.
Oh, you mean a bus stop?
Yeah.
Oh,
So there's
okay.
a new bus stop for, the village.
Okay.
They have their gate there.
Okay,
So that's a regular stop now, and so is it's a regular stop now at our entrance. So that's where they turn, so that's the turnaround now, is right there, as opposed to going through there, that was just temporary until we get new, extended service. There's no longer a flex stop where you have to request.
yeah.
At Birch Bay Village, that is now a regular stop.
But we're still a
In the
flex.
meantime, there was
No.
like a couple of weeks where, the new stop there, Birch, the village, was flex. So I watched them, they were turning around in that, gravel area, but I don't believe they're doing that anymore,
Okay,
so.
okay. So we'll check into that. I'll look a little closer.
It's right as you come in, or in the kind of middle of the road.
So is it more like on Tiffany's side of the road or on
Yeah, it's,
sorta?
You know what it is.
yeah, it's right in the middle of the road.
Okay,
But
okay.
it's all.
Like alligatored up, sorta?
Yeah. They
I-
didn't,
I-
remember when they came in and sealed all the cracks?
Yeah.
They didn't seal none of that.
Was that like out on the,
It's
was it in our area?
Yes, in
Oh.
our development.
Okay, then nothing else, we should contact, Asphalt and see why they missed that.
Yeah, and ask WT, yeah.
What's going on?
If that's our part of the street.
Yeah.
Sounds like it might be.
Okay,
Okay.
okay,
Where you would put a culvert if you would put a culvert,
okay.
if we get a culvert.
Oh,
Yeah, we will someday.
we will.
Who knows who the rest of it.
Yeah, okay, again, legal fees are put at 2,000. Again, the legal fees are basically to pay for our accounting service. They're the ones who prepare all of our required tax filing forms, and so they take care of that. One thing you'll see under property taxes, it went from 313 up to 645. We actually went down to the county and talked to them to see why it went up. And they just said it was reevaluated, and that's where it went up. There's nothing that the majority of that covers our pond and wetlands area. And it's not like they said, oh, this is now buildable or usable. It's just they reevaluated it, and that's where it went up. Does that kind of cover it, Judy?
Yeah, they hadn't done it in quite a while, and they said we went down and argued with them and said the only thing that we could do would be to maybe take it to the county council, and they would probably kick it back anyway. So.
And we would have to pay like, what, a $600 filing fee or something?
Yeah, just a $600 fee just to talk to them about it.
So we said, no, thank you.
Yeah, county government,
Yeah. So again, the landscaping, 57. Oh, and again, I'm gonna get into this later, but we are working to get the wetlands area and the pond area mowed twice a year to help keep it a little more manageable, and that will help bring down the overall cost of mowing. Because when we mow it like in early spring, once it's dry enough, by the time the whole year goes by, it's 4 feet tall again. And Ross from Woody's tractor says it takes him 6, 7, 8 hours to mow that. Because it's so much stuff there, he can only go about 4 miles an hour, and it takes him a lot longer. So if we mow it twice, it won't get as high, and he can start mulching it better and controlling it better. So he's due to come back sometime in probably September before the rains hit, and he'll mow it again. and then we'll be doing it twice a year. And there's something else in the works that he wants to broach with the board that I'll wait and bring that up in our monthly newsletter online, so stay tuned. Hot news coming. Trust me, I used to work for the IRS. You can trust me. And I did used to work for the IRS, so, but you can still trust me. Rental expense for this place. And you'll notice that this dining experience costs less than last year. Okay, so that's the 23-24 budget. Now, we do not, let's see, do we have? Okay, so as of the May 31, 2023 budget, you'll see that our current assets are $73,000. Right, and this is in May, and I know Judy has been receiving some delinquency checks, and she's making deposits, so this is not exactly right on, but it's still close enough for government work. We have roughly $10,000 in our checking account, roughly $50,600 in CDs or other investments. So our accounts receivable, and again, this is in May, this $12,000 is down because I know we have received some payments on delinquencies. But still, we have accounts receivable, which, you know, the $12,000 and $2.50 will still only get you a cup of coffee, right? Because it's how much people owe us. And who owes us? Maybe some of us in the room or those of us who aren't here. So this $12,000, or right now it's now down to around $10,000, is due to delinquent dues or other type of monies that have not been paid to the association for things that they've been billed on, okay? So that $12,000 here is pie in the sky money, but it's money that's owed us. So we need to get that current. Yes, ma'am?
What is?
Name?
Stacy, lot 5.
Thank you.
What is the process in collecting past dues?
Basically, we talk to you. If there's a problem, there's an issue, we talk to you, we try to set up a payment plan. We don't want it all right now. You can work up, you know, whatever you can afford, but we need to know that we're working on it.
Got it.
Okay? And I don't know if I'm jumping the gun, but if it gets too much in arrears, then we need to file a lien. And right now, the cost to us to file a lien is somewhere around $250, $275.
Yeah.
The same amount to release the lien. And that's also going to be rolled over to what the delinquency is. So again, I don't know what the village is like if they're delinquent. We're not like that. You know, talk to us. Work up a plan. And as long as we know that we're working on it, that's what we're looking for, okay? So again, our total assets, yes, it says 73, but it's really down around 61 in liquidity.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
This question, in the balance sheet of last year versus the balance sheet of this year, can you explain what the reduction? You're at 105 roughly last year, now you're at 73. Is that because of the repairs and maintenance?
Oh, are you looking at last year's income balance sheet?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have that in front of me. Judy, do you have that?
No. I have the current one.
Well, a lot of that's gonna be the cash that came out to pay for that. Because that was somewhere around 50 to 55, and
About
that's,
55 is what it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So roughly.
So that's where the majority of all that came from. Okay. So you'll see that, you know, even counting the AR, the accounts receivable, we're still way worse than we were last year. And so I can only implore anybody who is delinquent to work with us to start getting that money in so we can build our reserves back up. This is something we definitely don't want to hear, but the way we've looked at it at board meetings, our current dues are 200, I'm sorry, Stu?
I just was gonna ask, how many liens were put on last year? How many liens were put on last year?
None.
How many liens were taken off?
We took off 4. And that was on the, Vinny, his place.
So
Or
these
Vinny.
these delinquent
Browns.
dues are just from last year?
No, some of them are for a number of years. They just haven't paid, and yeah, we're gonna start putting liens on. We kind of suspended them for a few years, but it's something we're gonna have to do. But what we're trying to do is to get people to talk to us, let us know, hey, I need to get caught up, I know I do, I can start making payments. I had a lady call me the other day, say, I know I'm way behind, what can I do? We set up a payment plan. She's gonna pay $150 a month until she's caught up. She was concerned we were gonna go in and take her house. But we don't do that.
No.
I know, I've spoken with a young lady who was delinquent, and she said, I'm gonna pay you the whole thing. I'm currently not working. I said, wait a minute. No, you get a job, you get your family taken care of, then let's talk.
She's a single mom with 2 kids.
Yeah. So, yeah, we just wanna work with you.
Right.
That's all there is to it.
Are you charging a fee to do all this back and forth to the county?
The county, yes, we do add a fee onto that.
Mm.
If we have to file a lien and remove it, I believe it's right around $50. That covers the expense of going in and getting the lien removed, because you gotta do it in person. Same with filing them.
Right.
Okay, so yeah, our current annual dues are $200. If you come to the meeting or provide a proxy, you take $50 off, so it's $150. From what I understand, our last dues increase was roughly 5 to 7 years ago, somewhere within there. So as a board, we've determined that starting for the 24 fiscal year, dues should be going up to $250 with the same $50 reduction if you come to the meeting or provide a proxy. So that would be like a $50 increase spread out over roughly 4 to 5 years. We don't get any board discount. We get to pay it as well as everybody else. And we do need to get our available funds built up again, because these roads are what, 30 some odd years old? They're not gonna last forever?
No. Chris from.
Chris.
34. We redid the roads, I think in 1998, 99. We put a 2-inch layer.
Oh, okay.
of all the roads.
Once again, we need to talk. I've only been here since 18, so I don't know any of this stuff. Okay, but still, that's gonna be what, another 25 years, just about.
Just about.
So,
So that helped
But
make it last.
That was about what it was when we put the new service on.
okay. Do you recall about what it was back then? Give or take?
I'd have to look again.
Okay.
We had to arrange a loan.
Okay.
Amongst private individuals.
Okay. So,
I can tell you that when I first started as president and had a road building fund, we were accumulating funds on the understanding that it was gonna cost $186,000 to repave all the roads. But that was some years ago, and I understand it's much higher now.
Yeah.
that's what I understand, because the asphalt's based on petroleum, and we all know what petroleum's doing to our gas pocketbook. So, I think Stu had
I'm
a,
just gonna say on the roads, I mean, what you did last year, the seal cracking was great. I think we just keep that up, because there's a lot of life left in those roads.
Yeah,
And be careful with that, and we maybe even spend the money to seal coat it, and we'll get another 20, 30 years out of it.
yeah.
We were talking about trying to find someone who could do a seal coat,
It's hard to find somebody.
and start to get some dollars, some numbers.
But I think just, I mean, it's,
So,
and eventually they'll get grinding overlay. I don't think the chip seal.
yeah, okay. So anyway, to me, that's the bad news. Going up to 250, but you still get that option of coming to the meeting or giving a proxy to take it down the $50. So, and again, that's gonna start the 2024-2025 fiscal year, which will start basically in June of next year. So this year, it's the 200 or 150 since you're here, okay?
I've got a quick statement.
Yes,
For those that show up, that's one thing, but for those who don't, they're probably the ones that are delinquent.
more than likely,
Okay.
yes.
Do you think that's not gonna be a more delinquent problems?
By raising the amount.
Yes. They're not showing up, they're not paying their rent, they're paying their dues. By raising another $100 on top of what they've already should be paying, that they don't pay, I think we're asking ourselves, putting ourselves into more delinquent issues.
Well,
What's the alternative?
there's
my
roughly
opinion.
what?
Yeah.
Roughly what, 89 units in our development?
85.
85?
Probably, but
Last I saw, there was roughly what, 12 delinquencies?
Yeah, out of that percentage. of
Okay,
it.
and there's 20
Yeah.
of us here. So out of 65, there's 12. So that means, 43. This is not a math class, you guys. Even when I teach accounting, this is not a math class. The 43, they're paying. Okay, so maybe those others, maybe they had an issue where they missed 1 year and said, oh man, okay, I'm just gonna, and then it kind of snowballed. Where if we can talk to them, and yet Judy and I do occasionally go out and try to talk to people. Little face to face, hopefully it'll work.
okay.
You're right, you're
You have
right.
a lot of faith in people.
I try to,
Charles, Chris, sorry.
Yeah, Chris, I'm number 34.
yeah.
It's inevitable that dues should go up. Nobody likes to pay more money.
Correct.
The fact is, costs are going up, our needs are growing because of wear and tear, as we've been talking about all evening. And anybody in the life today realizes that it's gotta go up. Now, my thought is, okay, not every year, let's put some limit on it, like every third year or something like that. And a dollar limit also would make sense
On the increase?
on the increase.
Right. Well, like I say, we were chatting about when was the last increase, and we heard, 16 or 17 is when it went up. So either way, it's been just about 5 years, bottom line. So that's roughly $10 a year if you factor that in, which to me is to maintain what we have. Oh, and there was another thought that people might say, well, the people up on the view streets, they only pay $35 a year. Well, we checked with the county, and those roads are all county roads. So what do they have to maintain?
Not near as much.
Nothing. Even have a stormwater system they need to maintain?
The HOA up there fell apart, and the county had to go in there and clean up the roads with a health concern. So, they don't even have an HOA up there anymore.
So, and what is their stormwater? Selder. It's all coming downhill into.
They don't need it because
They
they're on
don't-
top of the hill.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's coming into us. So maybe we should include them in our, no, forget that. So anyway,
So that's a good thought, though. Maybe we could contemplate zeroing in on a dollar and a time frame so that looking forward, people will know what to kind of expect.
And it isn't exorbitant. compared to what the village has to pay.
Right.
You know,
And the other thing is that we don't have assessments,
Right.
and they do, they have a lot of assessments.
yeah. I do recall that before we moved up here from that late great state of California in '91, we lived in a condominium complex with like 650 units. Yeah. Now, they did every 7 years paint everything. They would replace the roofs. They did all the maintenance. But this was in 90, 91. We were paying roughly $300 a month in homeowner association dues, not to mention our mortgage and interest. So $200, $300 a year, I would gladly pay it compared to that. Dave,
My comments were going to be rather similar to yours. I mean, we do have a recreational property in Canada for which we presently pay about as much every month as we pay a year here. And in the last 2 years, we have been billed over $10,000 in special assessments, which so far we have resisted here. $200 a year? Come on. Where do I write that check?
Right here. You
And
do.
by the way, sorry to point, by the way, our dear president noted the last increase was 6 or 7 years ago. Do you know that that is the first increase ever since 1977 when a $150 rate was set? We were getting dues in what was $1977 up to 2017 or whatever the year was that the rate was changed.
Huh.
Are you kidding me?
Wow.
If we were just keeping up with inflation, we should have been paying $1,000 a year.
Yeah.
true, true. Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
The other thing too with our calendar one salary is that if you're not current with your dues, you can't vote at any of the meetings.
Yeah.
That is,
Voters are supposed to be in good
Our
standing.
documents say that
Yeah.
as well.
yes, our documents say that. Have we enforced that?
No,
No.
that's something that like.
Right.
we have seen from.
And I know Judy was going to be mentioning that we are going to put something out there, I know, in the website, that if you are not current, you cannot vote. So that's going to be coming up. We are going to start enforcing those kind of things because it's easy to enforce, pretty
Yeah.
much, because it's in the bylaws, in the CC&Rs.
What was that?
You know, yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really, don't make sense, because those people aren't voting anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, you're making too much sense here. But anyway, at least they know.
Well, we should check that because we don't actually really know that. I don't know what proxies we have and if any of those people are delinquent. I mean, off the top of my head, right? We don't really know
Yeah,
that.
that's something that we have to go through that
We
way.
should look into that and see if that's,
Want more attendance, get rid of the proxies. Need more attendance.
But then
yeah.
if we don't get enough people coming, then we don't have
That's
a
when we
valid
started
meeting.
doing
So
the
it's kind of a
proxies.
catch-22.
Yeah.
78.
78.
Name,
I'm Shelby.
Shelby.
We just moved here in February, so we're
Yes.
kind of new to all this. But an easy way if you're trying to figure out the voting versus non-voting is don't give them their number. Your little,
Yeah,
when they sign in.
well, see, we have proxies and I have, if they've named me to vote for them, I have their number.
Right.
So we need to cross-check the delinquency list with the proxies.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
right,
when they check in, like she was saying, if they check in and they're on the lait list, they don't get their
right.
number.
Oh,
Yeah,
right,
if they're
exactly,
here.
yeah, exactly,
Right,
yes,
right,
yeah.
right. Thank you. Yes,
Stacy 5. So if you give a proxy, you get the $50 off?
Yes.
You don't have to show up here?
correct.
Huh.
Because at one point in time, Dave knows, this goes back to when Dave was president.
Yeah.
We didn't have any attendance
It's a
at
lot
the
of effort
meetings.
to put together one of these meetings.
Yeah.
Totally
Yeah.
blow it because nobody shows up. It's
And you
just
don't
not
have enough
doable.
for your quorum, you
So-
can't vote on anything, you can't pass anything.
Yeah, I understand the process. I just-
Yeah, so that's why we did it that way. But now we've got a lot of people coming to the meetings.
Yeah, we could maybe rethink that because we had more attendees than proxies tonight.
But we do have people too that are quite a bit older, or maybe have health reasons, for some reason or another can't attend. But, So that's why they do proxies.
So, from what I understand, we need, what, 17 either proxies or attendants to make a valid, and we have 20 attendees. So this situation, we don't need the proxies. But still, as long as they are participating, we figure, let's let it go. So,
But all good things to give thought to it.
yes, very good. Okay, so we've gone over somewhat the proposed budget. You'll see that there's nothing really planned in as far as capital improvements / maintenance, okay? We have been discussing the idea of bringing BAI or somebody else, maybe if the prices work out, every 2.5, 3 years, whatever, to come in and check our stormwater, do a camera if necessary, or do a hydrovac if necessary. But we need to start maintaining this so we don't get in the same position that we were. And that would then hopefully tell us if some of those culvert pipes need to be replaced, Stu, hopefully. So we can start planning and budgeting for that kind of stuff. So that's all I have, and I know we've had some great comments, and I appreciate that, you guys. So,
When the county did their assessment, Anthony 41, when the county did their assessment, did they not send cameras down and check? Like,
They did do many.
They did
but not
many.
everything.
but again, they went by what the county saw, because the county put cameras down
well,
virtually
that's what I was
everything.
asking the county, and then BAI did, so.
Right, so they said, okay, the county said this one needs to be hydrovac'd. So they may not have put a camera down, they just hydrovac'd.
Yeah.
They followed what the county suggested. So I can't tell you exactly which culverts or storm catch basins they actually did.
Not off the top of our head.
Because
We
really
have
what
this
Mike has
information.
told us, and again, this, Mike Boland was the supervisor who ran this project. He said they followed the county recommendations.
Yeah, and well, that's why I asked if the county sent cameras down, not BAI.
Correct. And if you look at this, at the report, you will see pictures from the cameras going down some of the culverts, or looking down into the catch basins, or looking where the pipes come in, and you'll see the grout all falling apart. And some of the things, there were like, I think, bricks put in around the culvert pipes. And so this was kind of a hodgepodge development. And because a lot of people did their own. I know Tyler, our at large, he put his own catch basin in with his own muscle and rebar and concrete. And they had one hell of a time taking it out. Anyway, sir. Oh. What, I answered everything? Everything you possibly wanted to know?
Sure.
Don't push it.
Okay, so I guess I can call, is there a motion to accept the proposed 23-24 budget?
I move that we accept the budget that's stated.
Okay, is there a second? Second? We have a second. Hand vote to accept? It took a little bit longer, but all the hands got up. Any against? Motion's been passed, so we can take a vacation now. Now wait, I just sold property in Northern California, so we have money.
Are you sharing? Are you gonna share it?
No, I'm not a sheriff. Okay, old business. Okay, old business. I'm kind of old business myself, but here's what the Bay Ridge projects from last year. So I'm breaking it down into stormwater and other stuff. So the stormwater project summary. And again, the work was performed based on what the county recommended. Okay. Numerous and we have tried to go in and looking at the bids and everything and tie it into the exact catch basins. Some of them are just not jiving, but numerous catch basins were vacuumed. Regrouted catch basins as necessary. And again, that's where the culvert pipes come into the catch basin. They have to grout around so that there's no backflow outside of the pipe to ruin the soil or to wear out the soil around the pipe. Several catch basins grates were replaced with metal ones. They jetted out the storm main lines and culverts as required. Storm main lines were replaced on Seabreeze and Bay Ridge. Those were numbers 675 and 705. So if you look at the report, you will see these maps and you'll see SM 695. Well, that's Storm Main 675. Look for 675 and 705, and that's by Mr. Malari, and I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
Anthony.
Anthony's around there. Those were the only storm mains that were replaced because that metal was trash, okay?
And by the way, chased all the moles into my yard.
You're welcome.
I have so many mole hills now. so
Yeah, we do
they-
too, that's funny, they
Yeah.
must be running
Yeah.
around now.
It's like every day there's a new one. So thanks, guys.
Yeah, our pleasure. It's the least we can do. Just ask her. I do the least I can do. We created a new swale at the east end of East Shoreview. So what Stu recommended was we build a swale. When you go at the far end, at the end of the cul-de-sac on East Shoreview, there was a catch basin, but everything went up. So what they did is they went through and they kind of gouged out into like a mild V or a wide U with a 2% downgrade. And they, instead of going in and digging out the pipe and putting in bigger pipe, we just made the swale with a 2% downgrade, taking it over that little cliff, okay? Then they hydro-seeded all that and they worked on the catch basin. Now, Mr. Mike from BAI, he got down where the catch basin pipe ended up coming out. He saw that it was kind of backing up, so he took his little tractor down there and he dug like kind of a little mini creek to start moving the water down towards the pond, and didn't charge us for that. He said, and yes, I believed him. So that was a very good thing. And if you have driven down East Shoreview when it rains, you really won't see much. Yes, there was, but not much flooding. But there was another situation right by the Harders and Jordo's lots. Under the Harders driveway and then Jordo's driveway, that water would back up and then it would flow across the street to the south side of East Shoreview and continue down there. So we had BAI come back out, they scoped it, they hydrovac'd, and they sucked out a decent sized rock and a ball that were plugging it up, and that I think you can.
I hope so, yeah.
We'll wait till the rain.
Yeah, the rain.
We'll wait,
Yeah,
but let's
yeah.
look at something good. It's dry.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen
That
it that
duck's
way in a
not
long
even there
time.
anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
That duck's gone. Well, it's a duck decoy. It's sitting on top of the wood, but it's not in the water. Okay. So they lowered the catch basin so that it could catch and then help it get down to the bottom.
Okay. I'm just gonna say that ditch you were talking about at the outlet.
Way down at the bottom of the hill.
Yeah, so I went down with them and got a fantastic job cleaning that up and building that ditch. Let's not
Cool.
bring that guy in
Okay.
with a front end loader
It-
that does that anymore, because he just pushes it in, it makes it worse.
That was Ross, our mower,
Yeah,
so
that's what
we
he said.
probably, well, we've been using him for years, maybe we
They-
just
they
need
make a
to,
mess every year, so-
well, maybe, because that's where he was told to shove everything to, maybe you need to tell him not to do that
We need to
anymore.
take it out and not push it in, because right
Yeah.
now it's working really good.
Oh, okay.
Okay, cool.
We'll let him know.
Yeah, we're working with Ross on some of this stuff, so. Okay, we also, I don't know if you all know, but on the north side, that property up there that's been for sale, a number of presidents ago, they were trying to contact whoever owned that so that we could dig a trench to mitigate their water flowing into ours on the very north end of our property. Finally, somebody had a great thought and said it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission. They did it. So they dug about 1.5 feet wide by about a 3 foot deep trench all along the north border, pretty much. Not quite going to Selder, but almost. Well, it was starting to accumulate muck and dirt and growth. So we had some other company, I forgot.
Welcome excavation.
I think that's what, yeah. They came out and they improved that. They mucked it out, they dug it down, and then they used that soil on the north side on the other property to kind of make like a little berm to help moderate that. We had that done. We mowed and cleaned out several drainage ditches along Birch Point opposite the West Shore View. So if you're on Birch Point going to the west of our entrance, the ditch there, we had it mowed out and cleaned out some to the far west end of our property.
It's still flooding.
Oh, pardon?
It's still flooding.
Thanks a lot. And I even got out there in my boots and a rake to help her out. Now she's throwing me under the bus. But we're working on it. And the county was out also when Ross was here mowing that, and he actually mowed up for them so that they could look for another trench that they think is there. So the county is really working with us. And we helped them out by mowing a little, but we're still working on finding things. But it might not have worked, but we did it. We mowed and mucked out several other ditches on Bay Ridge and on Selder. If you're all the way down by Bay Ridge, about what's that very last little teeny street?
That little
Little
cul-de-sac.
pimple.
I don't know what it's called.
Well, it's that very last street there was.
Between those two houses, like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on the left as you're going towards Selder.
Yeah, it's that. The people just opposite that, they're the lowest part of our development. So all the water ended up in their yard. And a couple years ago, the board or somebody put in some sort of a small catch basin that was supposed to accumulate the water, and then as it would stop raining, it would help it percolate down. Well, they were the third house in. They had a pump. They would put the pump in there and they blow it across into this ditch across the street. Well, we had our guy come out and he dug that ditch down about another 2.5 feet, widened it, and really cleaned it out. And then he went up on Selder. When you get to Selder, when you make a left, the blackberries were encroaching on where the slope went down, so he mowed into the blackberries and really cleaned out that to help the water accumulate there and then come down around into our development, into the catch basin. And I ended up putting a few more sandbags along the Selder turnout to keep the water coming in towards us on the north side and not go across the street on the south side of Bay Ridge and inundate those 3 houses. Hopefully that worked, sir.
Well, again, many years ago, we had where that catch basin is, or was dug out.
When you first come in,
Yeah. We put a pipe underneath Bay Ridge, and it went all the way down to the pond. And that's where those trees grew up.
Okay.
The trees weren't there then.
Oh.
those trees are down now, as you've seen, okay? And again, we are on the short list to get a culvert under that street.
What's there?
to tie the whole thing down. So we're gonna get one at that entrance and the other entrance.
So you're saying there's a culvert?
You know, that's supposed to be the improvement.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
know.
they're gonna-
He's saying there's already one there.
We had to put in.
They
But he
s-
said that, Holly said they're gonna improve it.
Oh, they're just improving it.
Right, we're getting a new one,
Oh, they're gonna make it bigger or something.
something like that. Yeah, yeah, so they know it, but, so what, again, what we're getting is a new culvert on Bay Ridge and Birch Point, and they're gonna improve that culvert going on to Selder.
Okay.
And what that means by improve, I don't know.
The pipe that we put in under the road and down between the last two houses there, where it's all gravel now. And the
Okay.
trees grew up, there's a big pipe put in there, all the way down to the pond.
Right. And we did, when Tim was president, we did walk and weren't you standing on?
Yeah.
Yeah, Linda was standing on, she actually found the pipe.
We found that pipe when we walked down.
It's almost like a 12 or 14 inch pipe that goes out, yeah, she found it and,
You're welcome.
well, you know, that's probably how you messed up your foot, huh?
No, that was a year later.
Okay, good. Okay,
So did that get inspected too and get cleaned out?
I'm sorry?
Did that get inspected too and get cleaned out?
I'm not positive.
I'm not positive.
Yeah.
I'd have.
We'll have
I
to,
think so, but-
we will look at the bids and see if we can fine tune that. Or I'm gonna be talking with Mike, I'll ask him what he did. Cause I know he was working on that one catch basin there by where those front trees were.
Yeah,
Cause the county said we needed to go in and cut all those roots out.
yeah.
But he got in there and looked and said, no. And then we had the trees cut down at the request of the homeowner after the fact.
Yeah.
So we'll work on that. And again, we had the wetland area mowed as usual. We're changing the mowing to twice a year to help maintain the growth. Okay, so that was the stormwater project. It doesn't, Achilles, it doesn't tell you everything we did, but it tells you in general that we did a lot. Okay. So beyond the stormwater, we had the cracks in the road sealed and had speed bumps painted. Myself and Tyler installed various signs near the bus shelter because, as you know, there was a lot of cars being parked, there was trash, people were dumping stuff. We put in 3 signs saying, you know, no parking, this is private property, cars will be towed here, so on and so forth. And basically, I think it's worked a lot. People still put some, like I've seen boxes of foodstuffs put in the bus shelter like it's for people to come take, but it's like noodles and macaroni and cheese boxes, and they're names that I've never seen. It's like, I just collect it and take it to the dump myself. So we've installed the various signs, the BB Warm, Birch Bay Watershed and Aquatic Resource Management meetings. I know Patricia and I have attended at least one. In fact, we made the paper. If you knew enough, you could see the picture and see our backs to the, in the northern light. No, we've gone to that meeting and we've attended at least 2 or 3 Zoom meetings, and so they know us. They are in our corner. We've made presentations concerning our flooding issues. We're on the short list for improvements. The 2 culverts, 1 at each side. I know Judy and I have increased visits to assist members in meeting our rules and regulations. That's not just to get current on their dues, but as you know, our CC&Rs kind of ask people to help maintain their property. Some people will let things get out of hand. I hate to say they've accumulated junk, but then, because some men it's cool, and some people it's junk, but it's detritus. It's unused building supplies that need to be taken care of. And personally, I have seen improvement in that area. And we also give them notices, giving them names and numbers of like car towing facilities, landscaping if they need help with their lawn mowing, and so on and so forth. And we've assisted those with past due notices. Again, we're approximately 10,000 in delinquent dues. We had the cottonwood trees both at the street and back taken down. And we've had the HOA website created. Mr. Jamie here is the one who ramrodded that, and it's pretty cool, so try to go there. Okay, let's see, that's that. Okay, so that's to me old business. Any comments, concerns, questions? I want to hear your thoughts, your desires, your needs. And they're going to go over this way. Anything? Okay. I don't know if we need to second or accept these old businesses, but we didn't last year, so they're accepted. I love doing this. Okay. Current items to discuss. Like I mentioned, we are in the process of trying to develop a maintenance plan for the stormwater because we do not want to get into the same situation as we were. It's a work in progress. We feel that enough work's been done this past year and a half that we don't really need to have them come out before the rainy season hits. But we're going to be watching it, and if there is going to be a problem, I would like to know as soon as anybody sees any potential flooding problem, let us know so we can look at it and try to contact BAI and have them come out to mitigate it. Okay. As far as the trees, we had the trees taken down at the request of one of the residents because she was worried about the potential for the storm winds and some of the trees or the whole tree limbs to fall on her house or across the street and so on. So we had all those trees taken down. She basically paid for part of it. The board paid for the ones in the back. And in an effort to mitigate costs, we just said, cut them down, let them lie where they fall. Well, that's kind of messed up the mowing of that area. Also, some of the logs that they cut down in front, we just had them move the ones that they could not grind to put them in that little park, and they're still sitting there. Well, yes, we're now working with our tractor guy, our mowing guy, to move those and put them out, mostly put them along the blackberry berm that goes along Selder. Judy talked about maybe putting several of those around the pond as like places to go and sit and meditate or just get a nice relaxing look at a great heron or an eagle, whatever. So we're in the process of doing that. Okay, now, a cool thing is the bus shelter improvement. I'm sure you all have seen our lovely bus shelter that we have there for the young children's to stay out of the rain on the way to school. Some numbskull who was 43 years old tagged it a couple years ago. KJ, and that wasn't this KJ. They tagged that and he was arrested and 43 years old. Okay, so Judy and Tim contacted WTA to say, what do you guys use to clean your bus shelters? They got the same stuff and you saw what happened. It got all cloudy and messed up. We have gone out there with other stuff trying to clean it up. Patty thought about getting some vinyl like window covering to put on, see if that would work. Then she was talking with the young lady who lives right next to the shelter, Katie Manor, who is a very good artist. In fact, she just came back from Ireland for attending some seminars and painting things there, and she has volunteered to paint like a landscape mural on this thing. She's volunteered to use her time. We need to supply the materials. Roughly the budget is $300 to $500 for the painting and whatever she needs. Maybe Patty, because she's worked with Katie a little more, can talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, well, we first looked into replacing the panels in the bus shelter, and that was gonna be like $3,000, so we were like, okay, that's not gonna happen. And so we were looking at all kinds of alternatives, and so this kind of just fell in our lap with Katie. And you can actually see her on Facebook if you wanna look up Katie Manor and see some of the stuff she does. So she went on her trip to Ireland and got some more inspiration, so she's gonna be starting end of June.
Early July, based on weather.
Yeah, based on the weather, so we gotta get out and get it all cleaned up first and, make it a good canvas for her. And then she's gonna seal it, so then fingers crossed that nothing happens to that and that it doesn't get tagged. But she will seal it because we've talked about this in a way that she thinks she could correct something if that should happen. So anyway, I'm really excited about that. It could be really pretty, I think, so.
Yeah.
And it will camouflage that she's working with that smearing look that we have on there.
Yeah, she's not going to get rid of it. It's just going to work itself into it.
Yeah, it's gonna
and
be like a
hopefully it'll come out real
camouflage.
nice because I don't know, when I'm coming in or going out, it's like I look at that and go, ew.
Yeah.
Ew.
I'll send a message. I have a friend who did one of the murals downtown.
Oh.
And she just talked about an anti-graffiti something coating that she put on her, so I'll see if she can tell us the name of it.
Okay.
Oh, that'd be great.
Okay,
Yeah.
good, yeah, because then.
So you
because
could
it gets
probably
really tricky
clean
with
it?
Plexiglass and fiberglass, they're like, I don't know, they breathe and you have to use the right stuff and all
Yeah.
this, but yeah, that would be good, yeah.
Great. Okay. So, yeah, that's that. Okay. Moving right along. Okay. So that's what we're kind of working on now, trying to beautify the community. I should just walk down the streets more often, and I know. See. Okay. So, officer reports. So, Jamie, if you could just tell them a little bit about the website, what's on there, how to get into it, and so on. Yeah, I'm throwing you under the bus.
Yeah. Well, as you see the website on all the posted things there, as far as what's on it, the newsletters are on there. Any other current information. All the stuff that you've received in the mail usually gets posted up there. There's a form that you can use to contact the board. And there's also now a form, like a suggestion box. So it's basically like an anonymous suggestion. You can just put it in there and submit it. And that's about it for now.
And the pictures, if you haven't looked at it, Jamie took his drone up and did a lot of aerial pictures, and they're gorgeous. You can find your house on them.
But don't forget, I used to work for the IRS, so if you post something anonymous about me, I will know who it is. Kidding. Okay, Tricia, our secretary.
Okay, let's see, what haven't I said? Hopefully everybody's updated all their information when they checked in. Let's see.
Basically, she's really trying to get everybody's phone number and email accounts and verify your mailing address, so we can get our records up to snuff. So if you haven't done that when you've checked in, please look at what your address is, and if your phone number's not there, jot it down and so on, so we can, if
Yes.
you need to get information to you.
Found my way back here. Okay. All right. And so also on your table, you'll see those questionnaires. Has everybody found those yet? Please, please feel free to just put your honest feedback for us. This is a good chance for you to tell us the things you like, you don't like about our community, about the board, whatever. This is your chance to let us know. So I'll be collecting those off the tables at the end, but I'm sure it will be enlightening. That's it for me.
Okay. Judith?
Okay, basically, we already discussed the filing fees for a lien if we have to do one. And the other thing I was gonna talk about was dues, but we kind of discussed that already too. Any past due, talk to Ken or I. We'll work out a payment plan with you. We're not trying to hurt anybody, we're trying to help and get you caught up. So just let us know. Basically, that's all I got.
Okay. Any comments on that? Any questions? Cool. Okay. Officer elections. So basically, the board here, we are planning on continuing on. But at every annual, if anybody wants to run, you're more than welcome to throw your name in the hat, okay? But the four of us are here. Tyler is going to be another director at large. So we have a vacancy for one of the director at large positions. And the last I understood, a gentleman did express some interest, Mr. Stuart McWilliam. And last time I checked, he said, we'll see how it goes. So how's it gone? You in for it? Okay, you want to just tell them a little bit about yourself and so that they know who they're voting for or against?
Stuart McLean, on East Shoreview, been in there for right at 20 years now. And yeah, semi-retired.
I'll tell you, when we were working on this stormwater stuff, I'd go over there and he's Johnny on the spot. He came out chatting with me and informing me of a lot of what I needed to know. And he's the one that recommended doing the swale. And I think it was a swale idea.
Yeah, I'd say everybody there didn't have to put a waivers in.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you hear what he said?
No.
We're gonna have to put our waders on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
But so a learned stormwater person.
Yes.
Sounds like. So he's very welcome.
And
in that regard.
he knows a lot of the development. He knows people, he knows what's going on. So he'd be a great addition. So anybody else want to
Get in on
have
this
a
nonsense.
duel? Okay, well, yes, ma'am. Motion. We have do we have a motion to vote on Stuart joining the board?
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that motion.
We have a second. We can take a hand vote. Everybody want to vote for Stuart to be the director at large to fill the vacancy? Any opposed? Motion is passed. Welcome aboard, sir. The initiation for a new board member is to do all the cleanup. Oh, I should have said that first, right?
You wanna see if anybody wants to run for any of these other?
Oh, yeah. Anybody else want to run for president, vice president, secretary, treasurer? Anybody? Anybody?
You're doing a great job.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Well, any other news we want to, or any topic you want to bring up? Yes, ma'am. A name and,
I'm Valerie, lot 30. Just was gonna tell anybody who doesn't know, I run the Facebook page for Bay Ridge Estates. So,
Oh,
yeah. So anybody who wants to join, you should be able to find it. If not, just come see me and I'll help you figure out how to get on it.
Very
yes.
informative. Yeah, you do a great job. It's very informative.
And she keeps all the scammers and everybody else off the site. She's a good administrator.
outstanding. Thank you. Thank you. I thought it just magically appeared, personally. But see, I'm an analog kind of guy, so I don't know. Okay, so We're up for adjournment. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Adjourn.
Do we have a second, third, fourth, and fifth? Hand vote. Yay! We're adjourned. Till next year. Thank you. Thank you for showing. 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 Thank you.